It's the SMX Insider post-race show brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. And this track, well, Ricky Carmichael, you said at the beginning, they got the 12th man is kind of the thing for the NFL team here. You said it's a 23rd man of a 22-rider gate. This track told the story.
Yeah, it was absolutely brutal, and you heard what all the riders said. We all heard what they said, and how this track breaks down is probably the roughest and gnarliest outside of Daytona Supercross that I see without being mud, too. And just you really have to grit it out. And one of the grittiest guys in the paddock and on that racetrack is Eli Tomac, and really it's no surprise at how well he did here tonight.
Yep, just look at some of these stats here. He moved up to a tie for 5th all-time in starts with Justin Brayton and Larry Ward. He has been 2nd all-time in wins for a while, but just keeps collecting them, and he is 3rd all-time in podiums. That is in the Supercross 450 division. 2-time champ, trying to get that 3rd. He was so close in 2023, and making big steps this time. Oh, look at that.
Oh, there he
Cameron
is,
Hayes.
Cameron. And down in there. Lots of respect for those two guys. Both hunters.
Yeah, they got to actually shoot bows together at Washougal fairly recently in Pro Motocross. And we talked to Cameron about that. He was impressed. Tomac's skills. Cameron Hayes, ultra-marathon runner and one of the world's best with bow hunting. And that's 2 gnarly athletes right there breaking down their craft. So Tomac wins a great battle with Cooper Webb, who's always good in Seattle. He had won the last 2 years here. Tomac was recovering from injury 2 years ago, didn't race the event last year. It was good to see a rematch between those old foes, and what a night it was. The highlights of the Seattle round of Monster Energy SMX. And a beautiful city, but the weather in the open-air stadium is always a question. It actually turned out pretty good. Jorge Prado had the fastest lap time. This isn't qualifying, but then watch this.
Yeah, this was absolutely brutal, and man, it happened so fast. And I hate to see that because really he's silenced the critics. When you think about his departure from Monster Energy Kawasaki, then going back to his previous team that he raced for basically his whole career, and he had really been answering the bell. And man, I hope that he's okay and this isn't a long-term injury that's going to take him out.
He did not end up racing in the evening. Here's the main event. Uncharacteristic bad start for the championship leader Lawrence, and that puts Webb and Tomac up front.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Webb was absolutely rolling early on in this race while this track was still relatively racy and fast. And I tell you what, though, the 3 of Eli Tomac, he kept Coop honest. Beginning stages of that race, and didn't let Coop escape to have some breathing room. Mistake there by Hunter Lawrence, and this was a heck of a save. Hunter comes down the turn down early to get by Kenny and hits his back tire, but no surprise here with Kenny being able to march up through the field really fast. That's what he's known to do.
Here's Hunter making some more passes, gets back around Aaron Plessinger, who is quick in the early stages.
You see AP giving the 96 some grace there. That's what you see at the premier level of racing.
Okay, this is a big battle here. Chase Sexton still struggling a bit the last couple of weeks, so Lawrence able to get him.
Yeah, just I hate to see it for the number 4 right there. Was hoping for him to have a good night. And man, look how brutal those whoops were right there. And now you go back to the race for the lead, and Coop talked about you can't have that kind of performance with the whoops, through the whoops, and expect to win. And Eli triples onto the tabletop, gets by 3-time Supercross champ Cooper Webb. JT talked about it, how crucial that rhythm lane was going to be, or just that particular section and this rhythm lane.
Another move here for Hunter. This is for 4th behind that trio up front. And that move right there looked good that time.
Yeah.
But remember that.
Man, this track just absolutely brutal. And it was that triple onto the tabletop and then that first rhythm lane. Now Kenny is hanging on by a thread, and a miscalculation from Hunter Lawrence. Hunter just said that he was going down, but man, hate to see that, not only both for Kenny and Hunter, but watch right here. Hunter's gonna get his bike going ASAP because of this push button electric start. An electric start would have came in handy for Kenny for multiple reasons there. It's a really tough night. Kenny going a lap down.
Look, he ended up a lap down and 10th place, while Tomac rallies to win. A big battle with Webb, pulled away down the stretch.
I love watching these rides. Again, we talked about it, just a gritty ride right there. And I tell you what, I was nervous for the guy the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
A gnarly crash in Houston, and last week he gets taken down, and a way to stop the deflation right there.
Yeah, a huge bounce back for Tomac, and he's a 3-time winner now in a season where no one else has even won 2 races. Justin Cooper has been rallying 4th a week ago, 3rd this time, and Hunter able to salvage that 4th. It's really Roxon for the heartbreak as he ended up 10th.
Good job by Justin Hill as well. Again, another good ride by Savacci and Ferrandis.
Yep, and Malcolm Stewart, we had mentioned in the race broadcast, 6th.
Oh.
Hurt and all, had a big crash earlier in the evening, and he's riding injured, but still gutted out 6th. There's the rest of the field. Garrett Marchbanks had a big crash, but was able to get back up and finish the race in 22nd. Okay, so those are the results. Reflects in the point standings as Tomac has pulled within 1 of Hunter-Lawrence for the series lead, and Roxon now 11 back, tied with Webb. Webb was 24 points back a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, think of that. It's extremely tight, and I'm hoping that we keep this field healthy, and then if we do, it is going to be the guy who doesn't cough up the ball who's going to win this championship. Hunter-Lawrence is a prime example of that. He hasn't got a race win, but he's been the most consistent, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. And the guys that can keep their composure and not get caught up in what this championship looks like and how tight it is going to be special to watch.
Well, special always, all the wins, and I think the Tomac family has certainly learned to soak them up now more than ever. So let's get another side of Eli's story with Will.
Thank you so much, Jason. Down here now with John Tomac. You guys talked about the rebound race for him. It's been a tough couple of weeks, John, for Eli, but to be able to come back the way he did tonight and win, and now he's within 1 point there of the championship lead. What was that rebuild like for you guys leading into tonight?
Well, we really didn't have to rebuild a lot, just try to kind of correct the results, which, you know, the Triple Crown in Houston was a riding mistake, which you don't want to do those. But and then the first turn crash last week was really just unfortunate. But those two, you know, those 2 tracks and races for him they're good races. They should have been, you know, kind of what I consider aces, where you need to throw those aces on the table when you have them, and they turned out, you know, not that well. So it was important tonight to, you know, kind of turn the tide back the right direction and kind of get this thing rolling back the right way. And it was a good win. And Cooper Webb's always good at this track, and it's important to you know, remind him he doesn't own, you know, Seattle and maybe Dallas next week.
And, you know, these things, as you pointed out, they can snowball. Important to kind of stop that. He did that seemingly a little bit today as well. We didn't see perhaps the heat race performance that we would expect to see out of him, and he told us that there were bike adjustments made. So how much of a veteran move is that? I mean, Eli, we know, just has smarts when it comes to not overriding at the wrong time. So talk us through sort of the day and the adjustments you made with the bike and Eli himself to get to this point.
Well, it helps, you know, when you're a guy in his position where he's been doing this for, you know, over 10 years in the 450 class. And you have to make adjustments and from week to week and even from practice session to practice session. He made one adjustment before the heat race, and it turned out that it didn't work well in the heat race. So you have to take your lumps when it's like that and then go back to the truck, hopefully make the right move, which they did tonight. You know, and obviously getting starts, you know. He's been really good on his starts and then kind of marginal when they're not good. So consistency there would be a little bit nicer, but you know, he's in a good spot. He's riding really well. You have to be patient. You have to be smart. You have to, you know, manage yourself and your program for 17 rounds. It is hard to get through a 17-round series.
It's tough to get through 17 rounds, but it's tough to get through year after year. Eli's been asked relentlessly how he's still doing what he's doing at 33 years old. But from your perspective, what is it? Because he's changing the rules as we go.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing it for the love of the sport. He still loves competing, and especially competing with the young guys. You know, we have a couple of guys that are doing really well that have come in, the Lawrence brothers. So he likes competing against those guys. And I think, you know, he was injured and lost a couple of half seasons, and I think when you come back from that, it gives you just some time off that you need, especially at his point in his career. And when you have that time off, you can kind of contemplate, you know, how much you loved what you were doing. And this is a rough schedule on these guys, 30 weeks a year. And you do that 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it can wear on you, especially when you're one of the guys that is supposed to win, you know, the races and the championships. It's not a physical battle only, it's also psychological, and that can wear you out.
Well, we're glad that he's still in it. It's been incredible to watch both of you here at the races, and we wish you best of luck. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
It's a class act there, and one heck of an athlete in his own right.
The general just absolutely laying it down right now for everybody, and some fabulous insight. I mean, it gets no more real than what you guys just saw right there. A little, hey, you know, Coop doesn't own Seattle. He doesn't own Arlington next weekend. But, I mean, everything that he says, I certainly can't say it any better than that. And everything that he said, I totally agree with. It's all honesty. Again, it's raw. It's real. And I love hearing it from him because he knows what is going on. And it's just incredible what these veterans are able to do. But really, it's no surprise, especially when you see tracks like tonight. So, it's going to be exciting. It's a grind, and I still think, you know, like you just got to be consistent, especially with these guys, you know, staying healthy.
Yeah, exactly, because we want to keep this going, and these next couple races should be dynamite if they can all stay in it. Yeah. Let's get more trackside.
Thank you, Jason. I actually kind of want to explain what went on here between Ken Roxson and Hunter Lawrence, that late race crash. We got Hunter's explanation, but I want to walk you through on the racetrack here. Now, there's two lines here. There in the track design, there's an inside and there's an outside. The inside has roller bumps in it, slow guys down. The outside's a little bit faster and a little bit smoother, and that's really how it's set up to go. Well, Hunter Lawrence modified that a bit, took the inside and was jumping off this high point and going to the outside. Really the only one doing it. I saw Justin Cooper do it a few times, but he really innovated that line. He was making up a lot of time. That's how he was closing back that gap down on these guys. So as they came towards this section, and it's right after that triple on, and he was trying to make a move here, and we talked about how patience would have paid, he was a little bit too far back. So when he tried to jump, and you're going to see, he drops back a little bit, he makes a mistake in the turn. That gap right there is the problem. So he jumps across, and it's just a little bit later than it should have been. Had he not made the mistake in the corner exiting, he would have been closer to Kenny. He would have jumped across. Kenny would have realized that Hunter was there, and none of that would have happened. So those small little mistakes, that gap that opened up that Hunter didn't plan on, he still tried to force it. Kenny was unawares that Hunter was even taking that line, let alone going to try it right there. But that's what Monster Energy Supercross is. It's a game of inches, and if you get it just wrong that much, you end up in a pile of metal laying on the Seattle racetrack.
We mentioned that you want to see all these riders stay healthy, and you see how thin those margins are to be able to keep going.
Exactly, and then we talked about like staying, you know, in that zone, not getting ahead of your skis, and that's just what happened there. I mean, JT explained it perfectly. He just misjudged the gap. You know, you could speculate on why you think that he did that. Was it because it was late in the in the race? Was it because he was feeling it that you know, he was losing points for the championship and kind of went off his game plan, if you will? That's for him to answer, but definitely it was miscalculated. And again, I go back to, listen, if this was a bad day for him, fourth, I mean, your championships, I've said it my whole career, your championships are won on your bad day. And if that was a bad day, fourth's pretty sporty. All
right, so that's the 450 class. Still exciting as they head to Arlington. It's time to start talking 250s here. 250 highlights, Monster Energy Supercross from Lumen Field in Seattle. Of course, the spectacular opening ceremonies. Hayden Deegan, pretty popular wherever we go, winning a lot of races. But this crowd is all about Levi Kitchen, the home state native. So you're going to watch these two put on an unbelievable battle.
Yeah, the chef right here. But Max Anstey, great to see him get that whole shot. And I thought he had it in the bag, and then all of a sudden, we're like, yeah, not so fast.
Deegan and Kitchen are third and fourth there, and they start rolling forward, making passes. A little impatient there for Kitchen on the 47. That was costly.
Yeah, there were some key moves that Hayden Deegan made early to where the 47 of Kitchen fell behind because of that. And these are the moves that I'm telling you about. He gets by Cameron McAdoo, right past him. dives to the inside, defending that inside, not letting Cameron have a chance to get there and make a move back by. Now he's going to slide his back tire past Max Anstey, get a good drive down that rhythm lane, able to drive through that triple section, carry more speed, and then he's off to the races.
And considering how it's gone the last few weeks, thought maybe this one was over. Deegan had a big win streak coming in, but Kitchen comes to life. Here he makes a pass. Crowd loves it.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's on to see if he can reel in Deegan, which is certainly not easy to do, but he did it.
Well, he did. The guy was rolling. McAdoo has a wild ride going off the track, getting back right in front of Ryder DeFrancisco, but look at the charge from the 47 Levi Kitchen. And you want to talk about a battle? It was absolutely epic. Some great racing. I don't think it was dirty. There was one move that I thought probably didn't need to happen, and we'll probably show you that here shortly, but nevertheless, and this was the move right here. Not overly aggressive, but I think he could have played it a little more inside, but regardless, I love the racing and the camaraderie at the end of the race, but Hayden doing what he does. And it was just fun to see, but the last time that Hayden was able to make the move for the pass, he built a quick gap. When he's able to do that, it was game over. But there's Levi getting back by Hayden right here. And again, the crowd just absolutely going bananas for this battle right here. And this rhythm lane was key for not only the 250 class, the 450 class as well. There's Hayden going back over there, making a little bit of contact. And we saw this same kind of riding last year with Hayden and Beaumer at this specific race.
So good. You can lose track of how many passes there were.
Right, it was absolutely wild. The whoops coming through here. Hayden showing some great speed, but he never would really let Levi get in front of him.
And this is late.
Yep.
Last-ditch effort from Kitchen. Deegan blocks the inside. Deegan had pulled it away a little bit. Kitchen got close. And the racing was so good, that instead of the normal disrespect toward Kitchen, look at that.
There you go. Everyone says things, but look at the pat on the back, the knucks. Here you go.
That's game recognizing game, as they say here. Deegan had to give Kitchen credit for great racing, and they pulled a huge gap on Anstey, who rode well, but those two just took it to a whole nother level in Seattle. But the record book is just going to show it as another win for Deegan. It has been since 2007, Ryan Villapoto, that a 250 Supercross rider had a win streak this big. But it's on pause now because 250 East will begin next weekend in Arlington. See the whole field there. Anstey rebounding for a podium. A lot of the usual suspects there in the top 10. And there's the rest of the field there. Point standings. It's almost academic at this point. Deegan just keeps stretching at 35 over Anstey.
I mean, you think about it, 15 more points, he's got a 2-race lead. That could be very possible after the next race because they show up at Birmingham, I believe, for the East-West Showdown, maybe.
Okay, well,
I believe.
Hey, you got a big enough lead, just get on
and that's where you can really maximize your points, you know, and you can double up, if you will, having both coasts, and that's if he's able to win. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But again, a great ride from Levi Kitchen. That's what we expect from him every single weekend. It was cool to see that.
That's true. At the beginning of the year, that was pitched as a real battle there. Finally got one. Here's the SMX playoff schedule, and that's really where the heat began a year ago between Kitchen and Deegan inside the playoffs.
I am looking forward.
That place is unreal.
That place is unbelievable. Close to the Lake of the Ozarks. I cannot wait to get there. I'm going to make a weekend of it. My wife's birthday is during that time. Maybe we go rent a house, have a good time, and watch some SMX playoffs.
Going to build a SMX track right there in the middle of that amphitheater. Great for concerts. Justin Hill said he went to a couple concerts there. He said the place is unbelievable. He cannot wait to get there. September 26th. September 12th will be the first playoff race in Columbus, Ohio. September 19th, Los Angeles, California at Dignity Health Sports Park. So, going back down to Texas, where, as John Tomac said, got to show Cooper Webb he doesn't own it. This is what I love. This race has been gnarly year in, year out. We got the full field battling tonight. It didn't disappoint. Arlington's been great the last couple of years. And you know Daytona,
Daytona's always good. If we get this full field, we are really in for it if this group can keep battling like this.
Yeah, it's been so much fun to watch, and yeah, that's just I'm hoping that all these great athletes are able to stay healthy throughout it, and I think the rider, again, I keep saying it, the rider that is able to keep their composure during those times, especially mid-season, and not get caught in the hype, I think is a guy that's going to come out victorious here. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But going to Arlington, I love when we go there. I think it's a great racetrack. The fans are absolutely epic. Eli's had some great races there. Ken Roxon's had some great races there, as well as Cooper Webb. And again, let's not count out the guy that has the red plate, Hunter-Lawrence. Maybe that's where he's going to get his first win. We're going to see what happens there. But, hey, you talked about it, the 250 East Division firing off. Going to be a lot of fun to watch. Who knows who's going to win that race?
Yeah, because Deegan was the headliner in the West, but 250, no idea what's going to happen. Real quick, see how I'm a hot track map for Arlington, RC.
A great racetrack there. The dirt is always epic for sure. Very, typical Supercross, back and forth. Love all the 180 corners. Not a lot of 90s, which that's helpful. So you get guys going side by side. But one thing I want you to look at is a right-hand first corner. Rarely do we have those. The last time that we had a right-hand first corner was back to the second round of the Monster Energy Supercross and SMX World Championship, and that was at Snapdragon Stadium at San Diego. So that'll be interesting, but these are the best guys in the business, and they'll be able to handle it just fine.
Put on another great show for sure next week. Monster Energy upcoming schedule. Here's how to watch it. Race day live, 1 o'clock on Peacock. Pre-race show will return because it is Military Appreciation Night and the kickoff for 250 East. So much to discuss. So Adam Cincirillo, Justin Brayton, and myself will host that pre-race show at 6:30 Eastern Time next Saturday. Racing begins at 7. It's Peacock or the SMX Video Pass outside the United States. That's the SMX Insider post-race show from Lumen Field in Seattle. This building is built to be loud to help the Seahawks, and it certainly didn't fail this year. But it's awesome for Supercross as well. Cameron Haynes getting it started with the Dynamite Bow in opening ceremonies. Dynamite racing between Kitchen and Deegan in the 250 class.
What could possibly happen next week?
Unbelievable. And we got just... It's going to happen again.
Yes.
You got the same players, the same story. It's going to be awesome in Arlington. Thanks for watching, and congrats to Eli Tomac for the win in Seattle.